Welcome back to Fight Capital, where we enter the ring of combat sports business. I'm your host, Ryan Rappaport. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Matthew Hiebert, a combat sports agent who is also juggling roles from matchmaker extraordinaire to being a backbone of Canada's top MMA gym, Niagara Top Team. When he's not pushing the boundaries in the sports world, he's making waves with charitable causes like his recent donation from the NACMUI Niagara 2 event. Thanks for being here today, Matthew. How's it going and where are you chiming in from?
Thank you. Nice to be here, and thanks for having me, Ryan. Chiming in from Ontario, in St. Catharines, Canada.
Yeah, so I know we've been talking for several months, and I'm just always curious when people hop on here and I'm learning more about them. Everyone has that kind of like one memory that kicked off their passion for combat sports, but just rewind the clock a little bit. What was that moment where you fell in love with combat sports?
I would say when I first started wrestling back in high school, I did a couple years uh, back in Ottawa, and yeah, that's what really kicked it off for me. From learning my first double leg till now. Uh, got After that, I did a bit of like more traditional martial arts. Did a little bit of kung fu as a used to love those kung fu movies and whatnot. So that kind of inspired me to kind of check that out. And then I got more into the Muay Thai side of things, and then did some traveling in Thailand, some fighting out there. Brought me to Brock University for sport management because I wanted to work in the combat sports industry. And then I started wrestling with Brock University, and that's where I met Chris Prickett, the co-owner of Niagara Top Team, and then that's how I kind of got started working with them. And yeah.
Well, it's pretty cool. Me as a Muay Thai practitioner as well, just love the sport. And it's very cool that you've been able to experience that in Thailand too, which, not many people have. But managing a gym at that level as Niagara Top Team and orchestrating these events, you're quite the combat sports renaissance man. But
Thank
you're wearing a lot of hats. But if you had to pick one, what would be that favorite hat to wear in the combat sports world and why?
That's a tough question. I'm like a bit of like a ADHD type person, so it's helpful for me to, like you said, wear a bunch of different hats and get to explore combat sports through multiple avenues. But I'd say the two areas that excite me the most are putting on the events like this Knock My Niagara event we just had, and just seeing like putting all the pieces together, and then kind of being at the event and seeing it all kind of unfold. That would be the most impactful. And then aside from that, I also really enjoy the marketing and the partnership side of things as well. I've been doing some work with different athletes such as Cody Prevenchek, the best fisherman in MMA, and just got assisted him in getting a partnership with Rapella, which was huge for him because he's been using their gear since he was a kid, and then he just recently got featured as well in the or the Ontario Outdoors magazine. Got like a full feature article in there. So stoked to be able to play a part in the development of these athletes outside of the cage.
That's very cool, man. Well, just to add, that's a pretty innovative partnership, and it's one of the things that we're always talking about at Combat Sports Group is what's authentic for that
Mhm.
athlete, and what's going to be, who are they, and go and find those type of brand partnerships and sponsors. So pretty cool for you to be involved in a project like that and help take an athlete into a market where they have a lot of play and can probably make a big splash.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. A lot of people they'll kind of try and do partnership outreach for maybe for the wrong reasons and just kind of spam every single business in one industry, just throwing shit at the wall. Excuse my language, and seeing what sticks. But yeah, it's cool when you do the background research on a specific company that aligns well with your athlete or with your sports property, and then you can kind of show them one that you're actually interested in their brand and interested in building a mutually beneficial partnership, and playing into both brands. It's definitely important and fun to do as well.
Well, I mean, you have that management side, but can you just tell me a little bit about the Nakmui Niagara event that you just had and a
Yeah,
little bit more about that? Because I mean, not like you weren't enough trying to find the brand partnerships or running the gym. Tell me a little bit about that event because it sounded like it was pretty cool.
for sure. Yeah, no, thanks for asking. So I like when I first came to Brock University for sport management, I had the goal of eventually doing a Muay Thai event, being a Muay Thai promoter. And the I came in like I think 2018, and then I put a venue deposit down in February of 2020. So right before the world went to hell in a handbasket, and then obviously took a long time, but this past March we were able to do our first event there, and it was a big success. We were able to donate $2,000 to the Theodore Foundation, and have a sellout crowd, some awesome fights, and then it was only made sense to do it again. So we just did another one this past September. It was awesome. Putting together the matchmaking was one of the most difficult parts, and even more so with this last event, just because there's so many Muay Thai Ontario events as of late that like there's one or two every single weekend. Plus there's the Waco event, so it's really difficult to find the athletes in each division and get them matched up. But also doing the partnership side of things was really fun, and it was easier the second time for the partnership side of things, just because we actually had that proof of concept. We had an actual brand video. We had packages that we had put together in advance, and it wasn't just kind of on the fly, like here's this thing that we're going to do, like take a chance with us. It's we had results that we could kind of bring to the table, show them past activations, and it was easier to do, and we're able to renew all of our past partners, and then get some new ones on board as well.
Yeah, well, it's always baby steps in these promotions, right? And you got that first step in there, and now it's up to the next step. And really cool to hear that you did that donation through the Elias Theodoro Foundation. I got to hang out with Elias a few times, worked on a project with him, and he was just like such a great guy. So to know that his kind of legacy and his good nature and everything he tries to give back to the community is being carried on. So, awesome for you to partner with someone like that. But there were, you're promoting, matchmaking, you're marketing the event. What do you think was the most challenging part of that for the event you just had?
So for sure, the most challenging part was the matchmaking. That took up the bulk of the time. As I was saying, that there's so many different events going on in Ontario for Muay Thai, like one or two every weekend, and then plus September being a busy time. It was really difficult to matchmake. Last time I started matchmaking, 2-3 months out, and I thought I'd do the same thing and be fine. But this time, it was a struggle. We ended up only having 7 fights fight night, which wasn't terrible, but the previous one we had 10. We usually try to get like 15 fights scheduled in anticipation that a third of them are gonna drop out, which was the case, but we weren't able to get quite as many this time around.
Yeah, I've seen that with the regional events. I don't think a lot of people are aware of that. That usually you have to make 20 fights just to get 10, and if
Yeah.
that. I was just at a card not too long ago for a small, not small. They're a good size, and they were on Fight Pass this time. They were actually on
Oh,
Fight
nice.
TV, but they had like 6 people drop out the day of, and it's just like, for me it's like, come on, I mean, this is like your opportunity. You're on a pretty big international stage here. But yeah, that's just the name of the game sometimes.
For sure.
Well, from what I know about you, you have this kind of strategic, energetic, and kind of positive force behind you and what you're doing in the combat sports world. But we're like, which of these kind of attributes are what's getting you out of bed and ready to take on the day each day?
Um, I guess that's a tough question, but just the motivation to build something. I want to build a career in combat sports, and I've kind of just taken the approach of trying to do a bit of everything, which I think eventually I'm gonna have to kind of specialize in one direction. But I don't know, it's cool to just develop day to day. Like sure, I could get a job maybe doing some sort of like sales or marketing for something more corporate, and maybe make a better living. But I find it just fun to just follow my passion, and then hopefully the money comes as I go. But yeah, it's just it's exciting, right? I get to, like, for instance, I also have like a side hustle I'm doing right now, renting out a boxing ring. So I just got to go to Peterborough this past weekend. Drove like 4 hours, but got to watch some free fights and get paid to do it. So that's always fun.
That's funny you say that, because I just had someone in Miami hit me up looking for a ring or a cage to rent
It's a bit of
for.
a drive for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it also kind of segues because you were just out there not too long ago, right? And you've made some leaps since then. talk a little bit about your time with like First Round and how that happened, and maybe even you can talk about some of the conceptions that people have when they think about working or representing an MMA athlete.
Yeah, for sure. So, as you mentioned, I went to Florida back, I guess, over a year ago now. I think it was last May, 2022. Just like post graduation, wanted to do a little road trip. So I went down there, and Jasmine Jasavicius, one of the UFC fighters at Niagara Top Team, she's represented by First Round Management. So while I was down there, I figured, I might as well do some networking. So I hit up Chris from Niagara Top Team, co-owner there, and got him to kind of connect me with the team, and they gave me a little tour of the facility. It was awesome to see it. A whole office full of people just grinding away, trying to build, partnerships and do different stuff for all these athletes. And, they had a podcast room, they had like an in-house barbershop. So it was really, cool to just get to see that in person. And then just ended up having like a kind of on the spot interview for potentially giving them a hand. Like obviously they're out in Florida and they've got a bunch of athletes now in Ontario. So I was able to, help support their marketing efforts. So I'm not really doing so much of the negotiation side of things with like promotions and whatnot, but more just looking for, different marketing opportunities, different partnerships for Cody, for Jasmine, stuff like that.
I got some things for you. We'll definitely talk about it after the call here
Awesome.
as well. Well, this is awesome. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here, Matthew. For anyone who's listening to this, can you just talk a little bit about this journey you're going on in the combat sports world and what's next on the horizon for you?
Yeah, for sure. I guess starting with the journey, I guess, just one day at a time, looking for new stuff. Right now, I'm kind of at like a bit of a crossroads just because I've been doing a lot of different, wearing a lot of different hats, doing different things, and kind of looking to, try and find something more steady, something more stable, and specialize in one area as opposed to scrambling all over, as fun as that is. And then as far as what's next, I am considering doing a pancreation event in collaboration with Niagara Top Team in the future, hopefully in the new year towards the beginning. So technically, like amateur MMA is not legal in Ontario. They just have professional MMA. But then Muay Thai, they only have amateur. They don't have professional in Ontario. So it's pretty backwards, but they allow for pancreation. So that's been a new thing. We've had a couple pancreation events with like some, which is, essentially very close to amateur MMA rules, but they're not allowed to do like front kicks to the body and like random little rule sets like that. But looking to hopefully put something together with that, and hoping, fingers crossed, that they kind of start to change legislation in Ontario and start allowing for amateur MMA, and continue to go down the events route as well as the sales and marketing.
That's fascinating. I always love hearing about the different commissions globally and all the crazy, stupid shit that goes on in between them.
Yeah, lots of politics and whatnot.
Yeah, well, hey, Matthew, thanks for just being by here today and talking a little bit. Looking forward to seeing what you do next. And, just I'll add that everything you've been doing kind of like in the networking and out there hustling, it doesn't go unseen. So, man, just keep it up, and love seeing what you're doing out there.
Likewise, man, you're killing it on LinkedIn. I see you every single day. You're posting, making podcasts. I think we connected like right before you kind of, or like right as you're releasing the first episode, and it's crazy, in such a short time how much volume you've been able to put out. So I commend you for that.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Well, yeah, looking forward to seeing what you do next, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers.